Vocal Test Karaoke.
Eva from Power Alone. What's up, everyone? This week on the pod, we are talking more hardcore. Also, I'm going to do another contest this week. So when you hear the title of this episode, go and shoot me an email at 185milessouth@gmail.com. Let me know when in the episode you heard it, whether it's at the 57-minute mark, the 23-minute mark, whatever. And everyone that enters, I'll put you into a draw, and the winner will get a package from me. So that's what's up with that. Please support the podcast by subscribing to it wherever you listen to it. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, if you could please take the time to rate it and review it, that would be awesome. If you want to go the extra mile, you can go to patreon.com/185milessouth. Become a monthly Patreon. $1 gets you behind the paywall. More than that gets you a lifetime of good karma. So these are the people that keep the podcast alive. I love them to a person. Also, check out the website, 185milessouth.com. There is a playlist for every episode. So the stuff we talk about, there's a playlist. You can kind of listen along. It's pretty rad. So check that out. And all our links are on there, the Instagram, the Patreon, et cetera, et cetera. So check that out, 185milessouth.com. And let's get on with the pod.
185 Miles South, a hardcore punk rock podcast.
What's up, everyone? We're back on the pod talking more hardcore and helping out. You know him, you love him. He is the best dressed man on the pod. He is Dan Sant. What's up, Dan?
Hello.
Also helping out, he is Ben Merlis, a.k.a. Ben Edge, a.k.a. Bedge. What's up, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. Also helping out, I haven't come up with anything clever yet. I'm sorry. It's Anthony Pappalardo. What's up, Anthony?
That's totally fine. It's just Anthony Pappalardo. That works.
That works. Yeah. Okay. This question was posed to us from Mean Jeffrey Green. What did you say before, Dan?
Let me tell you something, Mean Jeffrey Green.
Yeah. Did we answer your question, Mean Jeffrey Green? Whatever. He was asking, is it possible to do an important compilation in the year 2021? And this is a great question that I wanted to shout out to everyone. Now, my opinion is yes. And the reason is because modern music, there's limited curation, right? Like everything is at the tip of our fingertips. Is that a fucking phrase? Anyway, it's right there for us, right? Spotify. Like, how do you attack this? You know, it's not like in the days of limited resources where you're taking chances on CDs or someone tells you, like, check this out, or you're reading thanks lists and figuring out things. Like, now just everything is there. So some curation is definitely, like, warranted and appreciated. So I think there's no time like the present for a compilation. Dan, what's your opinion on this?
Nerdcore for life.
Yeah.
You know, there's something about, like you say, curation and care and like-minded shared values and community, and the wanting to showcase art and get this stuff together, that I think is incredibly important. And I think it could easily happen again. Also, how many times in the past, as we've all many times discussed, that we found other bands from picking up a comp because you liked this one band on it, and then you want to either complete your record collection with them, and then you randomly found something, and it could have been 25 years later, and then next thing you know, you're buying everything by that band. Well, in modern times, I think that's even more important because we do have so much choice. So when someone takes the time to actually curate something and expose you to something that you're going to not be forced to listen to, but that is going to come across your purview that you may not have ever sought out yourself, I think that's doing the band and the listener a great favor by helping put things together to showcase talent. And I think that is something that, yes, it has been lost in recent times, but it's something that should definitely come back stronger. And, I back it being a thing to take hold of people's attention in this day and age too.
Yeah, because the modern compilation is basically just these playlists that are provided to us on Spotify, right? Curated by someone that's trying to sell something, and it's hard to attach like a amount of merit to it. But a curated compilation is very important. Like there was that One Scene Unity comp that came out last year, and there were several bands on there that I discovered that I was like, oh, this is great. And people were excited about it, and it matters. Now, do I think that we're going to have like the compilations of old have that amount of importance anymore? It's moved on from there, but it's so important for band. Like, okay, nowadays when we talk about like the democore bands, right? There's just a million bands that can put out a release, have it be digital, and then just fade off into the ether forever. If these bands get a song on a comp, it does make them a little more timeless. You can harken back to it, right? Oh, that band, they did a song on this comp, whatever. It's better than like, oh, they had a demo on Spotify in 2019,
Yeah, definitely. But what's an interesting thing is you talk about playlists. There are plenty, if you just say you wanted to search Hardcore Punk 2020, I bet you there are like 10 or 15 or maybe even a lot more than that of kid curated playlists on a Spotify where they've taken the time and they've left it publicly open for people to be able to like, and then it falls into their playlists as well. So someone out there is just doing this without having the authority to reach out to all these bands and stuff. They're just like, these are bands I like that I think represented this year, and boom, I've made this playlist, and hopefully some other people can find it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I get all my new suggestions from Posy Chris's playlist. Right? Like he'll hit me up sometimes like, hey, have you heard this? And I'm like, I'm waiting for it to hit your playlist, dude. If you decide it has the merit to hit your playlist, I'll listen to it.
There you go.
Pops, what's your take on this?
So I want to build off a theoretical here. So, hey, everyone listening, who are your top 10 bands, right? Like your bands that your ride or die. They might put out a new song and it's hyping up their LP. That's totally cool. Whatever. One song comes out, it goes into the ether, and then you pre-order the LP. Now, we're in tumultuous times. So, number one, I want to present a caveat that a lot of people offered songs to different compilations over the last year because out of convenience, out of like the convenience of, hey, we're trying to do something to raise money. We're trying to do this, whatever. Can you give us a live track? We're trying to save this venue. Take all that out of it. Like, let's take sort of the confusion of the last year out of it. If we said, if some artists, right, big artists, your 10 favorite artists mobilized on something that they cared about, a cause, whatever. And I'm talking about in the way that Discord did State of the Union, the Food Not Bombs comp, like that one that was printed on like paper towels. We can joke about it, but whatever. If the 10 best bands, right, or 10 popular bands mobilized on this thing and said, you know what, we're not just going to put out one track to stream so that you pre-order our thing. We're recording a banger because it's easier now. You don't have to go into a studio. Like, you can record a dope song on your own, or you can do it. It's cheaper. Like, the barrier to entry is a lot easier. And then we said, we're going to amplify some other bands now, and then we're not going to put it out digitally. We're just putting out this physical thing, and it's going to be a benefit comp for whatever this, not whatever, but this thing that we care about. Right. And then you get in your feed or whatever, benefit comp for X charity with these 20 bands. You heard half of them, or 20 arbitrary number, 10 bands, 5 you've heard of, 5 you haven't. One of them is like the band that is the hottest band or whatever. And everyone is focused on putting out like a banger thing for this thing that they believe in. How many is that selling? You don't think a lot of eyes are going to be on that? A lot of ears are going to be on that? Like, it's just rethinking the format and mobilizing, right? Because great comps are about either representation of something unrepresented or mobilizing around an idea. And so I just think we're a little too caught up in ourselves, in self-promotion and personal branding. And yeah, if like, I'll put it into something very finite. If there was a definitive BLM comp that bands are coming up and we're stepping up, like we are recording a song about this, double LP, whatever, like who's not buying that one? You know what I mean? Like, it's right there. I think it's all feasible. And there's not a lack of social causes to get behind. There's not a lack of things, whether it's saving venues to social causes to documentation. There's not a lack of things for people to put their energy behind. It's just a matter of going back to the heart of what hardcore is and thinking about it as a community. Of course there can be a great compilation. There could be one that'll blow your mind. If 10, 20 amazing bands that everyone cares about all came together and stopped thinking about genres and made something really interesting, and then also amplified smaller bands that needed a voice, well, I think everyone would buy that, right? Like a physical copy, that's the only way you could hear it. Why not?
Yeah, I think you stated that really well. Ben, what's your take on this?
Basically what everyone else said, except I think the odds are heavily stacked against a compilation working in a streaming era. So you would really have to make something special. It would have to be, like Pop said, a cause that it highlights, or something that's sort of a scene defining or genre defining comp that consists of bands that have a similar aesthetic to each other. And I mean, if you think about all the important comps throughout history, they've all been sort of scene defining, genre defining comps with bands with the similar aesthetic. But it would have to really be that, be hyper focused. Like if there was a new style of music that was a hybrid of hardcore and trip hop or some shit, like this theoretical comp could like combine all of these bands, like something that sets a new thing off. Like it could be the starting point for something different and new that's happening right now. I mean, I don't know what that thing is, but just a way to get people into it. And you know what I mean? Because if you have just like, here's a bunch of hardcore bands that have been around for the last 5 years and now they're all on a comp together, it's like it doesn't cut it the way it might have 20 years ago. And also, this is a really key thing to make this comp work. all these bands would have to sort of sign like a non-aggression pact that guaranteed that the song they recorded stayed exclusive to the comp, because you've gotten comps before where it's like, oh, I already have like 6 of these on the records of the bands themselves. So it weakens the strength of the comp. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts.
Pops, you were going to jump in?
Oh no, I guess I was just saying, like, if everyone's firing on cylinders and they actually look at this thing, like, I don't even think it needs to be genre defining. I just think it needs to be united around one thing. And it might be as simple as just, hey, we're just going to put out like a documentation of this, whatever that is. If everyone's united that like we're coming with some heat, why would that be bad, right? Like, because humans are competitive, right? Like, we can say that like hardcore is this thing that like it's community driven, da 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 da. But if you tell me, oh, we're going to be on a comp with this band, well, I'm coming with my A game. Like, I think that breeds a little. Like, I think a little competition is a good thing, in the sense of like we're all going to bring our A game. We're all going to like contribute something, and to Ben's point, it's going to be special and exclusive. If you told me that, and I'm not very like, I'm going to be super transparent here. I'm not the most up on everything, right? But if you told me that a bunch of bands were coming together to do this defining thing, I'm definitely checking it out, and I'm definitely spending whatever it costs to hear it. And I'm an old dude. I'm aged out, right? Like, but I'm still going to devote my time to that and my money. I just think it's once you put something behind it, rather than, oh, here's a thing, it came out, it's a compilation, it's basically a playlist on vinyl, fine, whatever. If you put something behind it, whatever that is, I think that's interesting, and it gets more people to be invested.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak on this. Daniel, you mentioned it, but we put out that Narco for Life compilation in the year 2020. And the reason for it was basically doing a time capsule for 2019. And that's one of the rough things about doing a comp, is to get so many bands together and get them in the studio. And then now with like the pressing plants taking so long to get records pressed, like, things are coming out like a year after the concept is created, a year or more. So you really do have to create like these timeless pieces of music to do it, and yeah, whether it's the most popular thing in the world or not, like, I'm really proud of that thing, because it is a time capsule. It is what was happening in the Ventura County area at a certain time, and it was something really special, and I think we captured it well. So it's everything that I love about a comp, and I was stoked to do it.
Yeah, this record label from Staten Island, which is the only time I'll ever talk about Staten Island, put out a tweet that said, like, question for music heads, what are the best of their time various artist comps? They were documenting the current music, not doing an archivist survey of the fact. And a bunch of people like Gerard Cosloy said, propeller product alliteration, that's a hard one, cassette, God's Favorite Dog, Tooth and Nail, interesting one, Killing Capitalism with Kindness. Like, I think there's a lot to be said for just documenting a time. It could be just as simple as that. Where are you at? What's the temperature? Let's make an artifact. That's cool.
Yeah, Pops, In My Eyes was on a ton of comps. How did you approach that personally?
So I think there was only 2 comps that we were really invested in. So the first one was the Bacteria Sour one, and we had done the demo. Puss had heard it, and he said, I want Built on Trust. And he said, that sounds like 7 seconds. And to me, that was like, that's like telling like a civilian, like, you sound like Kiss. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the highest comp. Like, it couldn't have been more complimented, It's like, fuck yeah, dude, you can have that song. And then he was pissed at us that we re-released it on a CD that no one cared about. Anyways, after that, it was just, can we get like a song for this thing? And it would just be like, yeah, you can have this track. Then the only other time was the Capo comp that I don't know the name of it. The
Hardcore 99,
Hardcore 99 one. And he was just like, I need a song from you. It's like, okay. I was like, what's the budget, you know? And then that was a little spicy. And we were on this radio show, and I was like, well, this is kind of cool. After the radio show had stopped, I was like, can we just run through a song? We did Welcome to Boston. We gave it to them. I thought that was cool. But other than that, like, we never, like, we got asked to be on like the anti-racist action comp. And it was like, cool. There's no budget. We can't just go and invent something for you. You can have something because we believe in that cause. Now, if you had said to me, we're doing this big thing and you got to come with it, I would have invented a way to do that. But I think the CD era was it was a weird time where everyone would just say, like, can we just have something? You know what I mean? Like, not, can we have something? Like, they weren't coming to you as like, you got to be revved up, right? Like, you got to get that spark that inspires you. Because if you come to me and say, how do you feel about this? And that's why I go back to like State of the Union, which was the homeless comp, you know, benefit the homeless in DC. How do you feel about this? Well, then I'll find a way. I'll pay out of my pocket to do that. I'll figure it out. But if you're just like, it's just commerce, it's just not that interesting.
That's fair. Dan, were you on comps, and how did you approach it?
Yeah, I've been on comps with a few different bands. I've just always really been excited to be included in a project. Do you know what I mean? Like, usually most people who are reaching out for it, they're excited. They're excited about your band. They're excited about pairing you up with other bands, and that's infectious. And, you know, you just hope that maybe someone who likes something that is adjacent to you may give you some time to listen to your stuff. And, you know, I just like the community of it.
Ben, how do you feel about not being asked to be on the Memories of Tomorrow comp in the year 2000?
Same.
I've got a better story. Broken Needle was asked to record a song for an MRR comp in like 2006 or 5 or 7. And we actually went into a recording studio, recorded one song for this comp, turned it into them, and they were like, oh, we don't like it. We're not putting it on the comp. So such a diss. But you know what? I was more mad at Charlie than anyone else because he was a guitar player. You know, this is the same guy who was in Life's Halt. And he fucking mixed out all the bass. Like, and I'm not just saying like, oh, because I was the bass player, I was mad that like you couldn't hear the bass. Like, literally you couldn't hear the bass. Like, it was like fucking Metallica Part 2. Like, give me a break. So I actually I wasn't mad at MRR. I was more mad at him. Like, come on, who wants to hear a song with no bass in it?
It's strummed harder, pussy.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, right on. I think the answer is yes, compilations can still be valid. Although it is a weird time, right? Because everyone makes their own compilations all the time now with like the Spotify playlists and so forth. It's like,
I mean, the key is in his question, important. Do you know what I mean? So like when we say important, like the way it is and things like that. So it could be 50-50. It might not be possible to do something that is so important, but you get the right bands together and the right pressing and the cool artwork, it can easily be an important record in 20 years still.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the mission statement, right? Like if you come to me and say, I need a track for this thing, well, that's a playlist. If you come to me and say, I need a track for this thing that's about this, and you have a mission statement, and you're like, and you come with something that's like, I care about this, whatever, that's a totally different mindset. Like, mindset's everything, right? Like,
yeah. Well, to piggyback off that, Anthony, like perhaps somebody could put an amazing anti-police brutality compilation together and have bands record lyrically about that theme and it all be together on one compilation. That would be incredibly important.
that's where I'm kind of going. Like, if you said like we're doing the fucking ACAB comp, bring it, and we're asking like premier bands and then coming up bands, I'm buying that. I want to hear that.
But the other thing, I don't know what that was. It sounded like a guitar.
It was Charlie's guitar haunting you.
It sounded like
I thought it accented me, and I was really happy about it.
No, I was googling that Uppercut song. That's like one of my favorite random tracks on a comp. That song, "Am I Clear?" And then I accidentally hit play.
But
we know what your favorite random comp song is.
No, it's this one.
Tell me to.
Oh yeah, well, that's not random. That's just Apex Hardcore.
Yeah,
but there's nothing wrong with drinking a few beers as long as I remain clear. What's up?
There's another thing you can't control for with making a great comp. It's that there has to be a great scene to document in the first place. Like the reason Flex Your Head is amazing is because there were like all these great bands coming out of DC in 1980, 1981, 82. And the reason, the way it is amazing is because there was that big New York hardcore thing happening around 87, 88. And it's like, you can't control, like, you can't just decide like, all right, I'm going to put together the best comp. Like there's an element like beyond your control, basically. There has to be something in the ether, something in the air in the first place.
No, the timing has to be right. Although I don't know, there's just so many good bands right now that like if you were able to curate the right bands, I think you could make a comp now. I don't know. I feel like there's less like highs and lows in music now than there were before, but
I agree with that. That's true.
One thing that is just a little under the radar thing that is important about certain comps, especially when they come out to being pressed on vinyl, etc., is that they can all be mastered to have a similar volume. Because sometimes when some of those old comps, like track 2 comes in and it blows your brains out, and then track 3, you're like, is this even playing?
Well, that's fair. Although that does give the band's personality, right?
Yeah.
But all right, well, right on. Hopefully that answered the question.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What? How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
How do you do, fellow kids?
All right, we're talking Dead Heat. World at War LP came out this year on Triple B Records. And shout out Dead Heat, dude. Second LP, Nardcore, Living Large. What's up? Dan, what do you think about this record?
I think it's great. I think it sounds great. One thing about Dead Heat that I really like is that the way that they've promoted this record is the most DIY, taking it to the streets. They have those things, like where you see a something stapled to a telephone pole, and it has like guitar lessons, and then you peel off the little thing at the bottom of the flyer and put it in your wallet or pocket, and you go home and you give a call to do the guitar lessons. They did that with basically showing you how to go to Spotify and listen to the record. Or go to Triple B and buy it. It's so they're all over telephone poles up here in Oakland, and I'm sure they're all over Oxnard and SoCal as well. I thought it was clever, and it made me chuckle. But getting to the LP, I think it sounds really good, and I've got to say, Taylor Young on production again, another great sounding LP. I love that the guitars, tone wise, are not over they're in the pocket really well. Subterfuge is the first song. It's like a hard fucking start to it's a great killer opening track. But my favorite track on the record is Sick Society. And I know, Zach, you were probably thinking, is this a cover? But I love the way this opens with the bass intro. And later on in the song, the bass sounds so sick on the breakdown. The vocal cadence on part of this song is straight up like Madball Down by Law. Did anyone else pick up on that?
Yeah, for sure.
It's I liked that was probably a nod in that direction. Super cool. And these dudes can really fucking play. Like, the playing on this LP is amazing. How It Goes is my next favorite song. It has this like nasty new metal breakdown that I should fucking hate, but I absolutely love it. And then it goes right into a second breakdown, which is just full on NYHC. What's really cool about this is I am generally not a massive fan of crossover bands throughout history. And, you know, this is really in the pocket crossover. And I really, really like this. Pay the Toll, that ends the record, is my next favorite song. And that is so mean and nasty, like so just full on NYHC crossover. Big and boisterous, and it's a really sick ending to the LP. So those are my favorite standout tracks. I really think the artwork is cool. It catches your attention. World at War, the title track, is really good. I think they are saying things on this very critical of the country, which is A-okay with me. They definitely are right in that regard. And I feel this definitely should be checked out by all 185 listeners.
Yeah, I just want to say Pay the Toll, that song, it was on the split 7-inch with Mind Force, which actually finally just got a repress. It was originally on the Feral Planet, which I believe is Travis's label from, from Minus. And yeah, it just got repressed this year. So it saw some glory again. I think that's why they tossed it on the LP, because it's kind of one of their hit songs, and it was out of press for a long time. But
oh, cool! And they're going to tour together too.
Yeah, man. So I'm with Daniel. My favorite song on the record is Sick Society. The way the bass starts out is great, and then like to put the icing on that cake, like I love on the riff when the guitars come in and they're doing like those artificial harmonics. That's like one of the little tricks that I love in guitar playing. And Daniel, I agree with you. Like has like a big crossover sound, but it's almost like a straight up thrash metal sound in the way that like it is just riff upon riff upon riff upon riff. And it's like these songs they're just written for like that ADD brain. Like there's no way to get bored because they've already moved on to something else. It's really wild in that aspect. Like they're not scared of running out of riffs. That's for sure. And it reminds me of, I was watching this documentary one time. I can't remember if it was Death Angel or Dark Angel, but like on the record, one of the dudes was talking about like the sticker on the record where, you know, labels, they hype up like for fans of, or this and that. Like they were just like, this record contains 130 riffs. You know? And like listening to this record, I'm like, oh my God, that's this. Like how many riffs are on this record? Like one day, you know, I'm going to sit and count. And it's like, dude, it might beat that record. Like there might be like 740 riffs on this thing. It's pretty amazing. Also, you mentioned the artwork. Should just say Anthony, the guitarist, one of the guitarists. He's the one that drew this. So it's like, it's really cool when a band not only has rad artwork, but when it's like someone from the band is like curating the whole experience, right? They're writing the music and they're coming up with like the art. It's so ill that it comes from within. Now, the other standout track for me is that Age of Dead Heat or Age of DH song on the record. It's full suicidal. They leaned all the way into it. It's like, yeah, we're not playing. Like, we're not saying we're influenced by this. This is like full suicidal. How I Laugh Tomorrow.
Like full tribute, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a full tribute track. And that's what I love about it, right? Like, they just fully lean into it. And like the way of doing like the DHs as the gangs. And then like when it picks up the pace and it goes, dead heat. It's like, yes, dude.
Yeah,
like,
that's sick.
Like I'll date myself, you know, that I'm over 40 because like I just picture myself on stage behind a speaker, like pumping my fist, like not in the pit, you know. But I'm like, I can't wait to see that song. It's gonna be so rad.
Do you know what though, Zach?
Behind an amp. What's up?
In regard to you like saying this is, you know, straight up thrash metal and not crossover, I would say the voice keeps it in crossover because his vocals are fucking cool and they are keeping it, even though it is a nod to like thrash, but it's still core. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. And I fully agree with that. Like the vocals are what keeps this. It's a hardcore band, right? Like hardcore can be whatever you want it to be now musically. Sorry, Ben.
No, I agree. I actually agree with both of you that it's the vocals sound hardcore. That's right.
And so they keep it in the lane, even though like the music I would say is like even just a step further than crossover. It might just be straight up thrash metal. What do you think about that, Pops? Do you think it lands in the thrash lane or the crossover lane?
He is urinating. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Maybe. Ben, what do you think about this?
I think it's equal parts flipped up hat, Welcome to Venice steez, and New York leeway core. So either way, it's like late 80s crossover that would work on a bill with Take Offense or a Kulu or Mind Force. Of course, we already talked about how they have the split with Mind Force and they're going to tour with them, which totally makes sense. And it's funny, when I went on, I thought, is this going to be one of those records that never comes out on CD because no one buys CDs anymore but me? And I looked it up, and sure enough, it is available on CD. And actually, when I first looked it up on Discogs, only the CD was listed. So it almost made it look like this was a CD only release. And I was like, fuck yeah. But now it shows that there's the vinyl. Like the breakdown on how it goes kind of reminds me of Burn. And like you said before, those gang vocals that are all DH, it's clearly suicidal. But unlike every suicidal album after the first one, this Dead Heat record doesn't suck.
Hey.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. Like I try, because I love that Take Offense record too, and that's very suicidal. I went and made me go back and listen to later, like late 80s suicidal, and I'm like, no, don't like it at all.
But we had this conversation because How I Laugh Tomorrow is like top 20 album of any genre for me.
I know you love it, and I just can't get into it. I love it,
dude. I'd snuggle it.
Yeah, I can't fuck with it. Like this record's cool because it's like it's very of the time, you know? And these people making this record are like they're doing it, you know? And like I think that's cool. Like it's very of the time, and they're pulling in all these influences and they're kind of doing it better. I'm going to put it out there.
I don't like it more than Leeway. I hear a lot of Leeway in it, and I wouldn't say I like them more than Leeway, but
yeah, no way.
But
like
they're very good.
Well, then you're talking like Apex all-time classic crossover hardcore band.
But are you aspiring to be Leeway? Yeah, these dudes are, and it's a very good record. It's like that's all we're talking about, right? Like, well, do you want to hear this?
This is not a hot take, and it's not intended to be, but I prefer his vocals to Eddie Leeway's.
Wow.
It's just completely different. I mean,
I prefer hardcore vocals to metal vocals, you know?
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That's fair.
You broke Anthony's heart. That's why he's coughing.
I really coughed. It's like, dude, you're really saying that?
Yeah.
That's one thing. I mean, we'll have to do the UFO for Leeway at some point because I'd love to suggest a myriad of singers. Now, I don't want to hurt your feelings or anything like that. And I do agree with you saying he has charisma beyond belief. But I'm saying as a vocal sound, it doesn't speak to me, but I like these vocals better.
Oh, that totally makes sense. For sure. Yeah.
Now, there's a John Carpenter-esque interlude on one of the songs, and I like it a lot. I think they should do it more. Like it kind of is weird to only like tuck it in sparingly. Like I think if you're going to go there, then maybe you want to roll with like that throughout the vibe of the record. Would be like the one thing that I would say is a knock. But that's pretty insane, dude. If you put in an LP in 2021 and my knock is I want more of the 20-second John Carpenter synth interlude.
I did
Feel
like
that.
that too.
I wanted to touch on a song that no one's mentioned yet. It's Last Call, because the singer sings instead of yelling just on this one song. And I think he sounds good. And it's like their power ballad. And, when a hardcore singer decides I'm going to actually sing a song, that's like really sticking your neck out, because it could come out, it could come off really bad and really corny. And I don't think it did. I think it came out good. Like, I'd actually like to hear more songs that are singy like that.
It's that nothing else matters.
Yeah, totally. Except again, I like this song and I don't like that fucking Metallica album.
Respect.
I like Black Album.
My only criticism of this album is it's a little long, but it's 33 minutes and 4 seconds. So is that really long? Is that really long for this kind of music? It's probably not. It's probably just me tripping.
Well, that's
What do you
another
think?
thing of like talking about hardcore crossover thrash metal, right? Like, if you're a thrash dude and you listen to this, you're probably like, dude, this album's like kind of short.
That's true.
But they're playing that style. But for hardcore, yeah, I mean, we're so used to short records now. Like, you can do 12 songs and it's a 20-minute record, so a 33-minute record can seem sort of long. But man, for a band doing their second LP, like, I think this record is better than the first one. I think the first one was great. This band can do no wrong, and they're even better live. And with you talking about like Chris having the balls to like rock the ballad, like, this is a dude that's like played in like those rip away pants, he can be a showman, like, rip those pants off, dude. What's up?
I haven't seen it, but I'm welcome to see it.
That's right. All right. Closing thoughts on this, Dan?
It's an incredible achievement. It's very hard to just ingest an LP in a small amount of time and be able to give it its due. I think this will be something that people will come back to year after year, and I think it's going to be really enjoyed. And I wish them like mega success, and I hope that this tour, as the world opens up again, is amazing for them. I know a lot of people are really excited to see them.
Yeah, I'm so proud of them. I love them flying the hardcore flag, and just really any hardcore band putting out a second LP is such an achievement. And I think they did a great job, and it's just absolutely awesome. So shout out. This is Dead Heat, World at War. Get it? Triple B Records. Listen to it on whatever streaming platform you like. And that's what's up. All right, we're doing a UFO segment on Bad Brains Roar. And this one is difficult because how do you replace HR, who might be the greatest singer ever in the history of music? Good God, man. Dan, if you got to replace HR on Roar, who are you taking?
So that's the thing, is like, you can't replace HR. So it's better to not go for someone who would do an HR-ish thing. It's really interesting to go for someone who would bring something a little bit different and give that recording a whole new flavor. And with that in mind, I'm going Zach De La Roca. I feel the power of his voice is obviously on the more like drawn out things, so going quicker will be interesting. But I think like just hearing Inside Out EP era Zach go, like, holy fuck, it's gonna be amazing. So that's my choice. I really actually want to hear it now. Like, thinking about it for all day, like I weighed up a bunch of people. Like, Jello was close, but then I thought, well, I mean, that's kind of HR-ish, you know what I mean? Like, they both have that almost hyper insanity to their vocals in elements. That's why I think the controlled aggression and anger of Zach De La Rocha for the ROIR tape, Fearless Vampire Killers, Right Brigade, Regulator. It's going to be fucking sick.
Yeah, I should piggyback off that because Jella's my pick. He's the only other voice I can picture on here. Like, you need a little bit of that zaniness and wildness there. And I'm just talking about like the record, because I don't think if I had to choose like the package of being on the record and doing the live show, I don't know if I'd take Jello. But just for his voice being on this record, I think it would be something special and he could slide right in. You know, the voice is just perfect. Pops, what's your take on this?
Okay. I thought about this quite a bit, right? So it's like, I set up a construct, right? You got to have the swagger, you got to have the soul, you got to have the belief in the PMA, right? And then I was like, well, what would be interesting? Because you got to be able to go hyper fast and then deal with reggae. And so that creates a difficult problem. Now, we could be funny. We could pick Homeboy from System of a Down, but that's not cool. No. Then I start thinking, I was like, all right, let's go outside the box. Because you can't, to Daniel's point, you can't replace HR. So it's like, do we go Ari from the Slits, Polystyrene? That's cool. All right, They Love the Damned, Dave Vanian. Then on the slow shit, he's going to sound too Jim Morrison. That was not cool, right? Then I was like, well, what about the Ruts, right? The most DC loves the Ruts, right? Malcolm Owen. That sounds pretty cool, but then it wasn't right. And then I went to the essence of the ROIR cassette, and that's yellow, right? It's all yellow.
So you're choosing Coldplay?
No, I didn't choose Homeboy.
What was that Christian heavy metal band that dressed like bumblebees?
Striper did? Yeah.
Striper.
Not Michael Stipe from REM, which I know his name is Stipe, but anyways. And I was like, whoa, Fred from B-52s, that's a yellow record. Milo, that's pretty cool. But then it was so fucking obvious, right? Second pressing, disciple of HR. This person, performer, unique voice, could do reggae, could go fast. He has it all. And if you go back and you look at the performances of this band, Peter Stahl, dude, that's the dude I'm picking, you know, like no one could be a better disciple. And then, but they have to bring their own thing. And I think his kind of like Sam Cooke voice, like I think Scream is an underrated band because they're not collector core, they're obvious core. Pete Stahl fronting Bad Brains, I'm all in. I'm with it. And I think performance-wise and what he would bring uniquely, I'm buying it.
I think that's a great choice. That's absolutely great. Ben, what's your take?
I agree with everyone's choices have been great so far. I didn't even think about Pete Stahl. And, you know, the Scream are clearly huge fans of Bad Brains. So that actually makes sense. And Zach too. And when you said Zach at first, I was like, the first thing I thought was the way Zach sounds now. And I thought that's the worst choice ever. And then you're like, yeah, Inside Out era Zach. And I'm like, oh, that's probably the best choice ever. So it's amazing how one person can be both the best and worst choice for the same thing. But my pick is Cash Reaction, aka Khalid Abdul Malik, who is the singer of the band I played guitar in for many years, Bad Reaction, because we covered the Bad Brains for Halloween 2007 and we fucking crushed it. But Cash in particular crushed it. Shit would be the closest thing to having HR on the record, but it would have to be 21st Century Cash because he was 3 when the ROIR tape was recorded.
That might be cool, though.
Oh, 3-year-old?
Yeah.
Stop bringing up baby pictures from the text.
I know. Don't say the word baby. I'm very triggered right now.
I know. Me too.
Well, you know, Fireburn did it with the other Bad Brains dude, right? He just slid right in and was like, well, hell yeah.
Oh, and I contend that the album Rise by the Bad Brains. If you were not told that wasn't HR singing, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that wasn't HR on the record. I believe his voice sounds identical to HR on that record.
He kills it.
It's just not that good of a record because the songs aren't very good, and there's not that much. The songs aren't very fast.
No, but the vocals are great, and that dude killed it in Fireburn.
100%.
Yeah, man.
Joseph.
What?
Can we call him by his name? That's like I Joseph I or something, right? Like,
Okay, I'm not sure.
okay, fair.
If someone referred to me as dude from Retaliate, I wouldn't be mad. So he's dude from Fireburn. Or dude from Fields of Fire. How do you feel about that?
Obvious. He's like too obvious of a choice to replace HR on the ROIR tape, because he literally replaced HR later on in the Bad Brains. But
do you know what? I really like these UFO queries. I think they're really interesting. I was looking forward to hearing what all three of you were going to say. I want to hear all three versions, especially, very much. It would be great to be able to, have a Star Trek replicator or whatever and make this happen, but
yeah, I mean, one day the technology is going to be there, right? And some programmer can just make it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Those are our takes. Let us know what you think on these.
Yeah, what would you choose, listener?
Yeah, tell us why we're wrong, dude. That's what we're here for.
And you have to listen to the episode in order to tell us why we're wrong.
No, man.
Thank you very much.
I love that Igno shit. Just talk shit, dude. It's cash.
Side A versus Side B.
All right, we're doing Side A versus Side B on the Betrayed EP Addiction. And this came from Michael Paris. If you guys want to make suggestions, go ahead and smash that Patreon button and then hit me up through the platform. Let us know what you want us to do these segments on, and we will do it because we love you. What's up? But this is a great choice. The Betrayed Addiction 7-inch. This is a beefy record for 7-inch. There's a lot of material on this record, and it is good. Jones laying it down again in a different format and knocking it out of the park. Ben, let's go to you. What's your take? Side A or Side B?
Well, doing this research, I went on Discogs and found out that another label in Europe put this out as a 12-inch as well. So I know you're a big 12-inch fan, Zach. But the side breaks are exactly the same. The first 3 songs are on Side A, and then the last 3 songs are on Side B. So vocals excluded, the song Time Won't Wait, the first song, sounds like it could be on the Carry On LP, because it has that fast guitar picking on the verses and then the open stringed choruses until you get to the guitar solo, which is straight out of the Dag Nasty playbook. It sounds a lot like the song Justification, which might be my favorite Dag Nasty song, or one of them. And then we get to the song Understand, which rips and totally reminds me of something that could have been on the last Bold 7-inch with Tom Capone, until you get to the breakdown. And it's funny, I always think about this, that there's so many bands that have a song called Understand and that song is incredible. Like Betrayed, Naked Ray Gun, Youth of Today, Verbal Assault, and Government Issue all have songs called Understand, and they all rule. So if you want to write a good song, just call it Understand and it'll probably be good. And then we get to A Light in the Dark, and that reminds me of Verbal Assault, and it's like super inspirational lyrically. And around the time this came out, I used to talk to Todd Jones on AOL Instant Messenger, rest in peace, all the time. And I told him that A Light in the Dark by Betrayed is better than the Outspoken song A Light in the Dark. And he was like, listen to that Outspoken song again. And I was like, yeah, it's closer than I thought. Like, that Outspoken song is incredible. Maybe I was giving you too much credit. And then you flip the record over, you get to Addiction, and it's like this very short, straightforward song. And then you get back into that Verbal Assault, Dag Nasty territory with the song Betrayed. If you take out those open notes in Proud to Be, you'd be very close to Carry On again. until you get to that slow part, which is sort of like the betrayed sound. And so I think the three best songs on this whole thing are Understand, A Light in the Dark, and Betrayed. Those are the standout tracks. And the first two songs I mentioned are on side A. So it's 2-1. Side A wins.
Yeah, I love hearing anytime that Todd is doing palm muted speed picking. It's like, oh my God, what a machine. So it's a pleasure to hear that on Time Won't Wait. Ben brought that up. The hit of the record is Understand, I think. And the other best song is the song Betrayed, like Ben said as well. Total mid-tempo banger, and it's short, which I love. To do a mid-tempo song so it's not as fast and you wrap it up faster. That's right in my lane. It's probably my favorite song on the record, although Understand is just such a gnarly hit, and that fucking fast riff is next level, beautiful guitar work. It's absolutely awesome. If I had to be a stickler, I'd shave a minute off that song though. And I don't know, maybe whatever. But that's why I'm going Betrayed, because it's short and it is the mid-tempo banger. God, Understand is such a good song. But yeah, I'm going side B for Betrayed. Pops, let's go to you.
Yeah, so as a designer of this record,
that's right. You're taking the cover, not side A or side B.
No, I'm picking a side for sure. I actually talked to Todd today, which rules, and went back into like email exchanges at the time. And so right when I moved to New York, which was 2001, Todd and I were emailing all the time, and we were talking about like guitar nerd shit. And he asked me about the song Making Sense, the In My Eyes song. And I was like, super trying to do Simple Minds by Diagnosty. I thought that picking was so sick, and I was like, man, if I could do anything over, I would do that better, because I'm not that good of a guitar player, right? And then he asked me to do the layout, and I was super honored. Like anytime someone asks you to visually represent their band, it's kind of heavy, I was like, okay. And I was doing all this research and like really trying to make it important. So then he sent me the tracks, and Time Won't Wait, it has that picking, right? It's the same as Simple Minds, right? And I was like, this dude is fucking insane. Like, I was so blown away, and I just hit him back, and I was like, dude, this is like, how many times do you do this? And we had like funny email exchanges. And for me, just the way that side A comes out, it was so like perfect. And it's not taking anything away from side B, but it's just banger. Yeah, I have no complaints. I mean, that's a great record. And I'm really lucky to have contributed to that. I think, not to repeat myself, but like anytime you're allowed to create the packaging for something, that's such an honor. That's a level of trust, and I'm super stoked to have done that. And I'm really, more importantly, it's like to talk about music with Todd is really important to me, because he really cares about music. He really thinks about it. And it was cool to think back of just two young people who are just so fired up and caring about things. And yeah, I'm just going side A, just because he sent me the track listing. And from the first track, I was like, oh, fuck, you're a fucking G. You know what I mean? Like, Time Won't Wait, come on. And I think he did, I don't want to give it all to him, because it's discrediting the other people, but I think they did something different for straight edge hardcore, and it was really interesting and it was engaging. And I just think that's important, right? Like, to build off all the things you love and see what you can do differently with it. And it just hit me. So I'm going side A.
Yeah, it's funny, like mentioning, how does Todd do that? Well, I lived with him for like a year. I think it was a little before I moved to San Diego. I was probably 23. So yeah, 03. It's because he practices every day. And I would just think like, I hear him in his room and it's like, dude, you're already the best guitarist in hardcore. Like kick it, go on vacation, It's just, he's an animal. He's so good at guitar. It's ridiculous. And he has been since ever since I knew him. So Daniel, is this the apex of sincere core and side A or side B?
Here's a question. Do you? All right. Here's the thing. It is unbelievably sincere. If you saw Betrayed around any of this time frame, the discussion / speeches in between songs were arguably longer than the songs, but that's because thought was at the forefront of straight edge music being done, so it is really awesome to have sincere thoughts not be, cheesy. Although the song Addiction, even though I absolutely love the song, that's the one where it's a little bit maybe going towards that route. But A Light in the Dark, that is the star of the show for me. What an incredible song. What an incredible, uplifting, like, you can be your light in the dark, and it's incredible. The song Understand has, there's a few well-trod youth crew tropes that are on this that come off amazing to me. Like, in A Light in the Dark, he does the blah, 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 man, which is a very kind of actually more youth crew revival trope. And then Understand says the understand before the song starts, which is
the announcing of the song is such a great trope.
Yeah. And I love it. And yes, I do like Addiction. I like Betrayed. Proud to Be is pretty decent. Time Won't Wait is amazing. Understand is amazing. A Light in the Dark is quadruple amazing. I love the tempo. I love the musicality. I would have liked more, perhaps a second song in this kind of tempo and thought out songwriting that A Light in the Dark is. And I'm going side A because 1, 2, and 3 are incredible. 4, 5, and 6 are great, but 1, 2, and 3, they come off the top turnbuckle and drop that elbow.
3-1, and like usual, I'm on the wrong side of history. So what's up with that? But this 7-inch rules. Everyone check it out. It is the Betrayed Addiction 7-inch, and that's what's up.
Questions and answers. Introducing first, the challenger, fighting out of the hard corner. From Oxnard, California, he fears no riff. He fears no spliff. He is the man who wrote what has proven to be undoubtedly the best LP of 2020, Retaliate 4, available now at indecisionrecords.com. He is the incomparable Roger Camero! And his opponent, fighting out of the core corner, from parts unknown, weight unknown. Reason he didn't pick Minor Threat in the Straight Edge Super 7, unknown. It is the reigning, defending, undisputed 185 Miles South trivia champion of the world, Daniel, these questions are too easy, Sant!
Okay, and we go to Roger with the first question. Roger, this band put out an LP on Fat Records in 1995 that, if translated from Espanol, would mean milk with meat.
No use for a name.
Point to Roger. No use for a name. The record called Leche con Carne. Okay. And we go to Daniel. Daniel, the Bad Religion LP No Control features a multitude of colors on the front cover. What is the catalog number of the Indonesian cassette press of the 1990 Living Color LP Time's Up?
EMI 24C.
Surprisingly close. Dash 1301190, or we would have accepted ET 46202. Daniel, on to your real question. Which Pennywise album featured Zoli Teglis of Ignite?
May as well give me the No Control, like, Living Color fucking mashup.
Hey, if you would have gotten it, you would have gotten the point. So here's your second shot at that same point.
Guess so good. I'm gonna say all my bros in the pit tonight. all the love and flat brimmed caps.
We go to Roger for the potential steal. Which Pennywise album featured Zoli Teglis of Ignite?
Oh boy. What does this say about me if I get this right?
OC, motherfucker.
All the wrong things.
All or Nothing?
You got it right.
All or Nothing LP 2012. Holy cow.
I've literally listened to it. I'm sorry, I really have.
Dude, I enjoy it. I enjoy that record.
No, you don't.
Dude, I like Pennywise and I like Zoli. Why would I not like that record? What's up?
Because it's 2012.
And because half of that, never mind. You do you. You do you.
It was shocking though. Like you did get the first word right, and I was like, "Oh my god, here we go." You know. But okay, let's go back to Roger. Round 2. Roger, episode 1, the legend Joe Rivas played in this band whose name could be considered the opposite of soaking cat.
This is fucking bullshit.
No, that's not the name of his band. It's Burning Dog.
Point to Roger.
Oh my god.
Okay, Dan, you're already perturbed. Well, here's one that Ben wrote.
Oh, fuck.
No, I didn't. You wrote this one, Zach. I swear.
Oh, yeah, because okay, you're right. You're right. I think, well, you added the other half and how the points work. Okay. Oh, fuck. Dan, on the cover of Bad Religion's 1985 12-inch EP, Back to the Known, it states the record features these two members from other noteworthy bands. Name them and their bands. Quarter point for each correct band name and person.
Okay, I'm going to say Greg Hetson of the Circle Jerks.
Half a point to Dan.
Who else? What year did you say it was? I'm sorry.
1985.
So it can't be Brian Baker yet.
I can't take this pressure. Too many things I'm doing great, too much in it, too many things, everything tonight,
I'm going to just stay with the half point and not embarrass myself. Well, let me just guess someone. Jay, the bass player, and I don't know his band.
We go to Roger for a potential half-point steal. Roger, on the cover of Bad Religion's 1985 12-inch EP, Back to the Known, it states the record features these two members from other noteworthy bands. Name them and their bands. Quarter point for each.
Oh, I don't know.
The other person was Tim Gallegos of Wasted Youth.
Yep, definitely would not have gotten that.
Yeah, that one's rough. I just remember that because it's like, it looks like a sticker on the cover, but it's actually like on the cover.
Yeah, but I would like it to be stated for the record that I am being submarined the fuck on this list.
We'll see how this
Soaking cat, and then who are the two people on a sticker?
You're the reigning defending champion. Come on.
That's true. Iron. I'm gonna have to. Iron sharpens iron, or whatever.
That's right. That's right. You know. Plus, everyone loves a good comeback story. You know, if you lose one, no big deal.
Here we go.
Okay. Here we go to Roger for round number 3. Roger, who drew the cover of Integrity's album "Humanity Is the Devil"?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
God damn it! I should know this.
Take this pressure. Humanity can do it great. Too much in it, too much in it.
Roger, final answer.
Mm-mm.
Okay, Daniel, we go to you for the possible steal.
Brian Schroeder, aka Pusshead.
Jesus!
Steal for Daniel. Okay, and we go to Daniel for his question number 3. Daniel, Tim Sawyer of Visual Discrimination sang for a band that had a split on Lost and Found Records with Burn. Name the band.
Holy shit. Jesus.
Sorry, dog.
I can't take this pressure. Humanity can do it great. Too much in it.
Jailhouse. Something like that.
We go to Roger for the potential steal.
Oh, fucking
Roger. Tim Sawyer of Visual Discrimination sang for a band that had a split on Lost and Found Records with Burn. Name that band.
Nope, definitely can't.
Yeah. Daniel, so close. You knew this. Prison.
The
Burn Prison split.
Because I have it.
Yeah. That was okay. It's just the shit's hard, dude.
But but this is a very hard question, regardless if you have it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a pretty big Burn fan, so that's I just knew that. It was and it was random. Okay, anyway. All right, Roger.
I never knew I didn't know that he was in that band. It was more along the lines of I'm just trying to remember who was on the other side of that split.
Right. I actually only found that out recently that he sang for that band in doing my preparation for his interview.
Oh.
Yeah, I just thought it was like a Euro band or something. You know?
Yeah. I kind of did too.
Yeah, I had no idea. In fact, that might have thrown you off. You know? Like if I was just who's done a split 7-inch with Burn, it'd probably be easier.
Well, also because half the splits, not all of them, because lots of them were American bands with American bands, but some of them they put Euro bands with US bands of the recordings they stole from the US bands.
Well, I wonder. This Burn stuff has to be booted because it's their 7-inch songs. Like the 7-inch comp songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Burn songs are. And then
the Temperance stuff.
That's right. Okay. Roger.
Yes, sir.
This band had a song about a cat on the 1984 Nardcore compilation on Mystic Records.
Oh, Jesus.
John Brannon.
For the fourth time.
I can't take this pressure. Humanity can do it great. Too much in it.
Roger, final answer.
I'm just going to throw out a band because I'm just going to be guessing. I'll just say Aggression.
We go to Daniel for the possible steal. This band had a song about a cat on the 1984 Nardcore compilation on Mystic Records.
I'm going to do the same as Roger and just say RKL.
No points this round. It was False Confession with the song Feline.
Yep.
It's hard, dude. I'm glad I'm on this side of the mic, as I'm saying. Okay, Dan, for your fourth question, which member of the Cockney Rejects needs a shower the most, given his nickname?
Oh, fucking shit. That's... God, how am I going to... the members are? There's... Well, I'm going to do process of elimination here. Since we shout out Smelly, I'm not going Smelly because I think you would have worked him into the question somehow. So I'm going to say Stinky.
A point to Daniel. Turner. Wow. Dude, true veteran of the game. Daniel Sant. Good God, take a bow. Oh,
I am impressed.
Yeah. Okay, Roger, we go to you.
But did you like how I did the logic that you would have definitely worked Smelly into the question if that was the name alike?
I'm impressed.
You're right. I definitely would have worked Smelly into it. That was great. Good God, Daniel. Okay, Roger.
Yeah.
This band received its first boost of popularity with the song Clean Cut American Kid, which came out on the third Rodney on the Rock comp. They released an LP called What Happens Next on Mystic Records in 1984.
He'll repeat it.
Point to Roger. It is. Okay, and we go to Daniel for his fifth question. Daniel, which came first, the Floor Punch 7-inch Division I champs or stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut?
All right, I'm gonna have to give it up to Mark Porter and the boys on this one. I'm gonna say Floor Punch Division I champs, slightly ahead of stuffed crust pizza.
We go to Roger for the potential steal.
Fuck off.
Roger, which came first, the Floor Punch 7-inch Division I champs or stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut?
Pizza, dog.
Yeah, stuffed crust, 1995. Floor Punch 7-inch, 1996. Okay. And here we go, into round 6.
I'm going to jump out a window.
Sorry. Roger, before it was re-released by Fat Records in 1994, what record label originally released the Face-to-Face LP Don't Turn Away?
Doctor Strange.
Point to Roger. Okay, Daniel, we go back to you. On the Clash album, Give 'Em Enough Rope, 2 animals are seen on the cover. What are they?
Oh, Jesus. I know one is a mule or a horse. You know.
Yep.
And then the others are... Now, are they vultures or are they ravens? I can't tell off the...
You can go more
memory.
generic. If a 3-year-old kid pointed at it, it's a what?
Oh, a bird.
Yes.
I think they're vultures. But because it's Western, so there would be vultures. It wouldn't be like carrion crows of medieval times.
Or as dumbass Zach says, that's a bird. The answer is bird/horse. Right on.
Well,
man.
we don't have the video on, but I've definitely given you a few birds on some of these questions tonight.
I believe it. Okay, Roger, with your final question. What is the first band other than NoFX to have an album come out on Fat Records?
Ooh, fuck. Oh, damn. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm just going to say a Lagwagon.
Point to Roger.
Oh. I actually knew that because of that fucking obnoxious Fat Records documentary.
Duh.
But did you know that Mike didn't do drugs until he was rich, man? Okay.
Did you know that he's really into S&M and have his wife put up a Coke bottle up his ass or whatever?
Okay.
I didn't know that. I didn't watch the documentary.
It's a pretty good documentary. I enjoyed it. Okay, Daniel, let's go to you for your question number 7. Okay, which is not a song on the Foreskins LP, The Good, the Bad, and the Foreskins? A, Jealousy. B, Justice. C, Revenge. D, Chaos.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry. I
No problem at all. Anything for you, champ. Which song is not a song on the Foreskins LP, The Good, the Bad, and the Foreskins? Which is not a song on that record?
Okay.
A, Jealousy. B, Justice. C, Revenge. D, Chaos.
God, it's either Revenge or Chaos. Fucking shit. Revenge.
Point to the champ.
Ah!
Great job.
Because Chaos is from an earlier recording anyway. Is Chaos like on there as well? Because that
it's on the record that I have.
Okay.
So I don't know the press. So sorry if that was fun.
It's from one of their 45s.
Right. Okay, right on.
And a lot of the time back then, if it was a single, it like a lot of the time wouldn't be on an LP.
Right.
The way punk bands were then, or at least that's what I'm thinking in my mind.
Yeah. Well, you got it right, dude.
It's on the original version, the Chaos. It's on there.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
Then I guess lucky.
You have to ask Ian. So
I guess lucky.
What should we go to Ian? What?
Yeah, might as well.
Is that good enough? I think so.
All right, we're gonna take that answer, Dan. Okay, and let's go to Ben for the final tally.
Hey, can I ask Ian something?
Sure.
Is Fugazi hardcore, Ian?
Is that good enough? I think so.
Well, that didn't even make sense.
Hey, do you think Fugazi's good enough to be considered hardcore?
Is that good enough? I think so.
Thank you.
Okay, well, there you go. And let's go to Ben for the final total.
All right. We have Raj with 7 and the reigning champion Daniel Sant with 4.5.
All right. Roger takes it tonight. But tune in next time to see if Daniel, the reigning defending champ, wins again.
Congratulations, Roger. I feel exactly like the RKL kid strapped to the fucking train on this one.